Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Hope y'all are doing well. We're recording as of July 3rd, so happy almost 4th to those folks. And we are finally working through the rest of the factions. And today we're going to be doing kind of what has become, I think, a personal favorite of mine, which are the Tyranids. And I've had a really different experience from when I was playing on the demo. And I actually didn't even play a ton of Neurothrope during the demo. I did a lot of the more aggressive version with the Swarm Lord. But I've actually come to find that this deck has a lot of just really strong power to it very quickly. And it can get kind of out of hand. I played against some folks last night and sort of saw like how explosive some of the draws can be. But the big caveat is that you can really only do it when you're going second, because your counterattack card for the Tyranids, as you might know, if you've been following the Warpforge content or playing yourself, is reduce your next troop's cost by 2 energy, which is really huge. And that's also why we've got some really key 4-drops in the deck that just can be really, really impactful and live through early aggression to really just snowball an advantage. Before I get into it, I always get carried away. Thank you for your likes, comments, and subscribes. Let me know what you think of the Warpforge content. I also put out a poll just to kind of get a bit of a temperature check for what people have been liking. Some folks said, keep sticking with the sort of video format that I've been doing, where we do like a deck tech and then some gameplay. That's definitely where I feel pretty comfortable, I would say. But feel free to go over to that community poll on my page on YouTube and just tick what you're interested in. I put a couple different kind of rough ideas and categories, and I'd love to hear from you, but appreciate all the love on the content. I've been having a ton of fun with the game and just can't wait to continue to see how it grows. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We did get Neurothrope, and I was very excited to play this different Warlord. I think I still only have this Warlord that's different from the base of what you get on the alpha, and one other one, which is the Orc Warlord, and that's it. I have not opened many Warlords in my time, but I think Neurothrope is a really cool one. So the card that it gives you, which is Spirit Leech, is 1 energy for deal 1 damage to an enemy or give 1 health to a friendly unit. Pretty much the way that this deck works is your turn 2 is just going to be Spirit Leeching if you have nothing else to do. And for the most part, I have trimmed a lot of the 2-drops from the deck just because a lot of them are not that good, and I don't really like even just spending my turn doing it. I'm totally fine to either use Spirit Leech if I'm on the play, like going first, or use my counterattack card on turn 1 to get a 4-drop down. And that's just always my turn 1, where you start out with 2 energy. And that's been really good. And, what I'll say is that the +1 health to a friendly unit is just a really, really powerful ability. And it's kind of the crux of why I think this style of a deck works. It's just super cheap to be able to do that. Very cost effective, because it's not just going to be giving your Warlord 1 health because of the way that Synapse works, and we'll get into that. You're just, all of your units are basically getting +1 health for 1 energy, which is really, really good. So just to give kind of a breakdown, we've got 22 troops, 8 stratagems. I've kind of been tweaking the numbers here and there. So far, I felt pretty good about that. You really just want to land a couple of your key Synapse troops, and then use some of these really powerful buffs in conjunction with your Warlord ability most turns. So we'll just go down by energy cost, and I think you'll kind of start to see how the deck looks. So Adrenal Surge, I actually just added this recently. I think just having it as a 1-of is fine. So it's give +2 melee and +2 range to attack to a friendly unit. With the way Synapse works, it's going to also do the adjacent units. And I think actually health is the most important stat for what we're doing, but it is nice that on key turns we might need a certain unit to have a certain attack level, or just, whether that's to kill a really obstructive kind of Vanguard unit, or just to finish your opponent off. So I think having it as a one of is pretty good. Enhanced Organism, same thing. Giving +3 health to a friendly unit at 2 energy, I think is pretty good. And when you're synapsing it, it just feels even more broken. Hyper Adaptation, I've definitely really liked. Being able to draft one of 3 options to give to your friendly troops is great. There's +2 health, stealth, +2 attack, +2 ranged. I think. Oh, and +1 armor. I think those are the main ones that I've seen. And then Infestation Node is great for card advantage. I'm still thinking I might want to play 2 of this card, heal 2 to a friendly troop, and create a copy of it in your hand. And yes, with the way Synapse works, it's giving you 3 copies, giving you the card that you targeted and the adjacent units as well. So you never really need card draw in the deck because Infestation Node does a really good impression of that at 2 energy. All right, and we get to our first unit here, Mucolid Spore. I think this is the main 2-drop that I've been very happy with, just because of the amount of health it has and how obnoxious it is. It's sort of like what the orcs have with that one little unit that dies and explodes, except this has 3 health instead of 2 health, which I believe that unit has, and it's got blast too. So you usually get to punch their warlord for a bit and then blast something else, and in conjunction with your warlord's ability or other things like that, it really does, it packs a little bit of a punch. And sometimes what you can do that I find is really annoying is you can play it and then buff its health with your ability and kind of like keep it on the board, and your opponent is usually going to want to try and play around it and kill it before they put out units. And it can actually kind of be this annoying, like, okay, you're waiting for me to play units, but I don't want to play my units into your thing, but your thing's getting more health, so I can't really kill it. So I actually think it's a pretty useful 2-drop. The only other one is Termagant. I think just for 2 energy, you're often not playing this on 2 energy, by the way. You're almost always playing it on 4, 5, 6, just in conjunction with us using our +1 health. You're never playing this on turn 2 for the most part. And I still think that it's good as a 4-drop, 6-drop, that kind of thing. So I still think that having 2 spots on the deck is totally fine. And then everything else is going to be 3 and up. So we really don't have a ton that we're like playing proactively, like I said, on turn 1 where you have 2 energy. You're really looking to just start, kicking into overdrive from turn 3. Biovore, this card has been excellent. And I was lucky enough to pull 2 of it. I did crack a lot of Tyranid packs to really get this to where it is. And there's still plenty of stuff that I would love to play, but this thing's just great. It's obviously a 2-for-1 because at the end of turn you're getting a Spore Mine. Usually the play pattern with this is that your opponent wants to kill it, so they're not wasting, but they're kind of using an attack on that, and so they don't have units to like kill your Biovore. I would say the better players that I played against, they just ignore this and they're willing to take 3 to the face or kill off their unit to trade 2 damage, physical damage on your Biovore. And I think that is how you want to play against Tyranids that are running this card. You don't want this to just sit on the board and get free value. It's just really annoying, especially once you start giving it health on turn 4, turn 5 with your Neurothrope ability. It's just going to sit there getting you value. And once you start getting Vanguard units down, then they're not even killing your Spore Mines for free. They're just taking it to the face. So Biovore, excellent 3-drop. Hardened Biology. I was a little suspect about this card because of its energy cost. Like, obviously 2 energy would be like super efficient, but armor 2 is just a lot. It's just, what that means is almost every time you're only taking 1 damage for the most part in the early game, and giving your adjacent units, as we get to Synapse later on, armor 2 for 3 energy is just a really, really efficient play. Pyrovore, I'm playing 1 of, I only have 1 of it. It's just a fine 3-drop. I don't think it's great. I think I would prefer stuff like Biovore, but I've already got 2 in the deck. But it's got 4 ranged for 3 energy, which is kind of nice, and 4 health. It's also easy to pick off other things so that it's gaining the 2 health, and then once its health pool increases, it gets even harder to kill. So I still think Pyrovore deserves at least a slot. All right, Tyranid Warrior. This is our first instance of Synapse, and this is probably the most important piece for the deck. It's the best 3-drop to play. because of how it's going to set up the rest of your game. So when this unit is targeted by a friendly stratagem, so we've got 8 stratagems plus the one that we're spotted from our warlord every single turn. And then what it says is when you target it, adjacent units are also affected. So your ideal curve, if you're on going second, right, is you use your stratagem, play one of your 4 drops, and you'll see which ones are pretty significant. Play your Tyranid warrior, and then from then on out, you're spamming your warlord ability every single turn, targeting Tyranid warrior or another Synapse unit, and just getting +1 health on all your units each turn, and triggering any other additional abilities that happen. And it's super annoying. This is also, it's easy to get this to 5 health the following turn. It's 3 attack, 3 ranged. It's a pretty great unit in general. So Tyranid warrior had to be in the deck. It's an extremely important part of the deck. Lictor, obviously I would rather this be, I think it's Von Ryan's Leaper, which is just the strictly better version of this card. It's the same stats, I believe. Might have different health. I'll check that at some point. But right now I use Lictor. It's totally fine. It's 5 attack, 4 energy, stealth. You can make it bigger, obviously giving it more health, so that feels pretty fine. But Spore Assist, I will say, is probably the best turn 1 play when you're going second. So what does it do? 4 energy, 5 health, 2 attack, 4 ranged attack. And it says it has Synapse itself, and it says Artifice, deploy a Spore Mine, right? And so when you put this on turn 2, and then you go Tyranid Warrior turn 1, turn 2, Tyranid Warrior, turn 3, and you just start spamming your ability, you're just getting a free Spore Mine every single turn. This thing's pretty healthy. It's hard to kill. It deals 4 damage. It's, range damage, which is nothing to sneeze at. And this thing just gives you an insane amount of value. So that's really the best thing you could be doing on turn 4. Other than Tyranid Prime. I did pull this. This is one of my legendaries for the Tyranids. I think I've only pulled 2 total legendaries, right? 1 for Eldar, I think. And this is just great too. It's got Synapse, and for any of our Swarm cards, of which we have few, but still a bit of a relevant bonus there. It gets +1 attack and +1 health. The 1 health is definitely very important. It's got Synapse itself, so it's just another way to set up the rest of our board. And it's just really well statted. 4 energy, 5 health, 5 attack, 4 range. It just packs a huge punch, and you can usually get 2 attacks out of it with the way the deck's set up. So very happy we have that. Tyrant Guard, this card is also probably one of the other better turn 4 plays, or when you get to play it on turn 1 with your, I keep getting the turns mixed up because you don't start at 1 energy, you start at 2 energy. So you're either playing it on turn 3 or turn 1. When you play it on turn 3, it's really easy to set up. That's great. But even if it's your opener, it's pretty annoying. It's got 2 armor, 5 health. You can gift it 1 health every turn with your ephemeral card. And it makes it so much harder for your opponent to kill your Spore Mines and all this other extra value that you're getting, because they have to beat through this Tyrant Guard. And usually if they're just using their Warlord early on, it can only deal 1 damage. And although it's not returning any damage, it also cracks back for 4. So this thing is just such a pain, and you can really feel the difference in the deck when you have this card as opposed to when you don't. So I think one of the things I'll be looking out for with Tyranids, with this specific build, when we get into the actual release of the game or beta or however they're going to progress it, if Tyranids gets additional Vanguard units that are even remotely similarly costed like this, you're going to put them in the deck because it just helps set everything up. So that's Tyrant Guard, which I think is a really, really powerful card. Apex Predator, it's a little overcosted for what it does, but it's still really, really powerful on certain turns to give your units invulnerable. So they just don't take damage, they're not destroyed. And so obviously with Synapse, you get that on 3 units. And so sometimes you're able to basically like board wipe your opponent with your units using Apex Predator. And again, it's triggering, anything that gets buffed from a stratagem. So I think having one slot devoted to it's pretty fine. Death Leaper, been very happy with. 7 attack is a lot, and now I think the strike got patched, so it's not going to stun like enemies that it killed because there was some weird bug happening. You can play this early. It can be annoying as well. Again, you can gift it more health with your passive ability, which makes it even more threatening. And so far, I've been really happy with Death Leaper because it's often going to be that 2-for-1. You kill something, you stun something else. And when you get a second attack out of it, it just feels really, really broken. Hive Guard, I actually wasn't playing with this card for a little bit. And then I was like, every Vanguard unit, or like the main Vanguard units that I've gotten to play, it just feels so, so good with how the rest of your deck plays out. So I put in Hive Guard, and it's totally fine. You know, you're spending 5 energy for 6 health. It's pretty beefy. You can give it additional health with all the cards we talked about. And it's got 6 ranged. I mean, this thing packs a punch when it survives and gets to fire back, which I really like. So I've got 2 of those. Rapacious Hunger, I'm running it as a 1-of, because I will say something that can be quite annoying is some of the decks that try to go wide. And often the healing 2 to a friendly unit is super impactful. Often what I find is like I could sacrifice a unit to get something low, then Rapacious Hunger, heal my units or heal my Warlord. And it actually does quite a bit of work. I shy away from playing 2 of this card because it really doesn't fit into your overall strategy, but Rapacious Hunger can clean up a board state that other cards can't really do. And then at the top of the curve, we've got Hive Crone. I've been very happy with this card. 7 health for 6 energy. Again, you're getting more health for the energy you're paying, which I think is generally a pretty good rate. Flying, so they're going to have to deal with at least the 4 ranged. And Rally, deal 3 damage. This deck can close out games by turn 5 and 6, especially if it's going second, pretty easily. And I think Hive Crone just allows it to go over the top, where they're like, oh, maybe they stuck a Vanguard unit, and they're like, oh, I'm going to be safe. You know, they don't have enough to get through. And then you could just Hive Crone, deal 3 to their face, deal 1 to their face with your ability. And it's kind of the perfect curve topper for the deck. So we're still missing stuff. The Von Ryan Sleepers are really good. Actually, let me just do what we don't have. Swarm Lord, I'm pretty excited to get at some point. Let's go to, what is it, Epics. I've also tried Overwhelming Swarm. It just doesn't make sense in the deck. Gene Stealer, I think, again, would be a pretty sick card. Some people are a little down on it. I think it's pretty decent, but Zoanthrope, Synapse, whenever you trigger Synapse, it deals 1 to 3 damage. This is obviously going to be excellent. Von Ryan Sleeper. Okay, so it actually has 1 less health than the other guy, but it gets Tide and Swarm, so it's just like strictly better because you're getting more cards out of it. And then there's Hive Tyrant, which also has Synapse. I don't love this card. So you get +2 melee and +2 ranged attack to a friendly troop. Obviously that synergizes really well with Synapse because you're going to give it. But it's 7 for 777. And I don't know, with Ultramarines having like hard removal cards, Chaos Marines having hard removal cards, I think I'd rather just have something that does damage up front. But Synapse, as you'll see, the Synapse cards are the core of the deck. I think Zoanthrope, 6 health, 5 energy. This is just well statted, and it's kind of perfect for what our strategy is doing. So we're definitely missing some things. There's probably other stratagems that would be better too. But for now, I've been pretty happy with it. There are some of these other cheaper stratagems, but I've really liked particularly like the actual stat ones. So it's health, attack, ranged, armor, stuff like that. I've just found that to be pretty effective in what your strategy is. So that is our deck for the most part. And I'm trying to figure out how do I actually get back to the page. Oh, there. Just got to click filters, Tim. That's all you got to do. So yeah, that's our deck. Obviously, there's more that we could be doing. But I've been really happy with the curve and just kind of generally how it plays out. So let's hop into a game so I can show you. Might try and restart the queue, see if we can hit a real person, because that's been a little bit more effective lately with more people getting keys. So be on the lookout for that. Join the Discord if you haven't. I'll have that link in the description as I always do. Okay, probably a bot, but we will see. We tried to get it. Okay, so we're going first. Always really important to note. Good to have our 4-drop here, but I think I'll just reroll to try and hit some of our 3s. Okay, we did not. Unfortunate, but it's good to also see a deck kind of on the back foot in a way, like when it's not optimal conditions. So here I just like to hit for 3, pass the turn. What I will say is this thing has a lot of weird animations, this Warlord. I should probably make a note in the feedback. Like, I don't think you need your Neurothrope to go off every time you use a stratagem, which I think is what it does for some reason. Okay, we get a free little bit of damage here. This card I can't wait to get for my Ultramarines deck. Okay, and then here I think it's just a pretty easy Pyrovore. We'll just punch this unit, kill it, pass the turn. And then, yeah, it's going to be either of these next turn, and then we're just going to start playing out our other 4-drops and just using our ability every turn here. Of course they hit this. But that's okay, because it's going to live, and we're going to get to kill their unit, and so they're going to have to try and do it again. Nice. All right, and we've got some other stratagems to use once we land other things. From this position, what would I rather have? I think I don't have a ton of issue playing either one. This one's definitely a bit more powerful. So I'm just going to kill that. This is going to heal 2. We don't have a good attack, obviously, so we will not be doing that. Tryanid Prime, this thing is just scary. If it gets to live, just can get a lot of advantage. Okay. Unfortunate. Did die. But yeah, I mean we're sitting real pretty here because now we're just gonna start getting a ton of advantage. So just make sure our positioning isn't terrible. Give this thing health. Give that health. Give our Warlord health. Get a free trigger. Hit this for 5. And you can be, I would say, like, generally, if you're thinking about trading damage, like, you can be pretty aggressive with this build. I'm always pretty happy to hit with my Warlord. And even if they can kill this, which looks like they might be setting up, they're just taking so much damage to do it. Yes. I mean, they're also, the bot's not really playing this well. Hit that for 3. Now we just get to play. Now we actually have a choice. If we want things to live, which I'm pretty down for, we can actually just use our enhanced organism first. Give everything. Heal some health. Oh, I actually should have. Oh no, it does just give this straight health. That's perfect. Something I realize is there's a difference between healing 2 and then just increasing health by 2. So sometimes you don't want to miss out on those triggers. All right. Well, I think the most efficient thing is actually just to spend the turn killing this, not taking a ton. This also has 9 health. I mean, it's just pretty gross how out of control these stats get. And then we're just going to get to play Hivegrown next turn. And I think probably just win. It's just a really fun for how crazy this deck scales up. Yes, this is 9, 14. Yeah, we just have lethal right here. Don't even need this stuff. Boom. 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 Easy. Didn't even need our turn 7. We had lethal on board. Okay, we are going second. So now, show maybe a bit more of an explosive gameplay here. All right, so we do have something to trigger Spore Assist, but I think I would rather throw it back. This is a good 2. And I think I'll throw back the Hive Guard too, because I would like one of our 3-drops. Nice, and we get it. All right. This is definitely one of the starts I'm happiest to see. And this card is just crazy. Digestion Pool. Next troop costs 2 less. Does so much work. So hopefully we'll get to see kind of one of our more explosive starts. Definitely first we just got to take that out. And we could play conservatively and play something like Termagant, but yeah, this is where it's at. We get this thing down. It's pretty beefy. It should live. Probably get a turn to just play the Tyranid Warrior and then just start spamming our ability. Ooh, well, Swooping Hawk is a bit of a scary one, so I think we might actually take a quick change of plans. I'm going to trade some damage here. That's fine. Let's use our stratagem to kill that. And then because I kind of want this to stick around anyway, I'm actually just going to take out the Waystone here. Give it another turn. And I could play a Termagant here. I don't hate that. I don't love that. But I think because I want to play the Tyranid Warrior anyway, let's actually just play it out. And that's fine. Because they'll probably attack this. We get to play this, play the Tyranid Warrior, and then buff 3 units health, which will be pretty nice. So slight deviation, because we wanted to take out that unit. And I imagine they'll... Oh, they actually take out the Termagant. Okay, that's fine. I don't really care. It's nice. Get to kill that. Love that. I'm actually going to take out that Waystone too, because it really... Being able to kill the Waystones early against Eldar is actually... I don't think it's always the best, but I do think in general it can be pretty decent. And now we just get to start going off here. Gain a little bit of health back. Get another Spore Mine. Start setting up our board. And then once we play the Tyrant Guard, it's just going to be a lot harder for them to deal with the free Spore Mines each turn. And you get a decent bit of value out there. Either they're burning their freeze for 3 or they're killing you. Okay. Yep, you get to kill that. They don't have a good attack with the Wind Rider. Okay, yep. So we're going to cash that in for 4 damage. Right? Or 3 damage. Shurika 2, yeah, 3 total. Okay. Now I just get to play our Vanguard unit. It's going to guard what we're doing. We're going to heal. Let's just take this out. Let's take this guy out. Let's take this guy out. And now we've just kind of got full board control. And yeah, they're going to pick up these stones. But now we just have our Vanguard unit to protect kind of our engine here with the Spore Assist. Pretty nice. Yeah, Falcon's okay, but I think we've got ways of dealing with that. We've also got the Crone. Well, and I think we're going to make a quick change of plans because of the... Now the Crone just kills this. Actually, I should have played this on the other side. I wasn't thinking. Because you just want to have your units near your other units with Synapse. And we can just punch here. I'm going to risk it here. Just take the 4 damage. Kind of turn the corner. Yep, that is perfectly fine. We've got 4, 7, 11, 16. Yeah, so we have lethal on board without a Vanguard unit. And that's pretty much it. I mean, so you've got kind of your Synapse pieces early and then just set up into the rest of your game and pretty much good to go. That's why you just don't really need 2 drops, really, because it's like once you go to turn 3, you're done. You know, might as well just get the value here. Or I should have put it here. Whoops. Playing a little too fast. And I could use the Invulnerable too if I wanted to. But we've got it all here. And that's how kind of crazy it can be on the when you go second. So, yeah, been really happy with the deck. Obviously could use a couple more pieces, but generally I think it's pretty good. You know, and why not? Got the currency. Let's just crack a pack of our faction anyway, see if we hit anything cool. Nope. Okay. And we're not going to play this 8-drop. I don't think that's what we're looking for. But, yeah, so that is our deck. I think there's definitely cards that could be tweaked and sort of played around with, but Neurothrope is super fun to play when you have the Synapse cards. I think the most, kind of annoying thing and important is like you just really want your Tyranid warrior. It's just going to be the earliest Synapse card to come out besides your Spore Assist with your going on the play, or going second rather. So you really need your Tyranid warriors for this deck to kind of function. The rest I think you can kind of tweak because there are just so many different stratagem cards. But I think Infestation Node's really, really good. Hyper Adaptation, really good. Any of the health ones I think are pretty great. So that's what I got for you for today. So give Tyranids a spin. They have a lot of different styles of play, but I really like this one, and it's pretty aggressive, which honestly for farming gold, also pretty nice. So other than that, I will catch you all next time. Thanks for sticking around.